So this income is concerning everyone, whether he is in his youth or an elder one. Everyone needs money. Income means money or wealth, whatever you say it. So we must understand what actually money is and how can we attract that money and how can we utilize that money in the best possible way. So first thing is, what is money? As we just read the affirmation, money is energy. It's not a matter. It's a frozen energy. And when it is an energy, we know it always flows. And we read in the affirmation that whole of the universe treasury is mine, for that is energy and I am energy. So if money is energy, I am also energy, I am able to attract that energy with me. We know the principle of energy. Greater the will, greater the flow of energy. And greater the flow of energy, greater the magnetism. We all know it. So now, first question, first doubt may come to your mind, why we are discussing money here? Because money is mostly used to possess worldly things. Of course, it is needed for your basic needs also, but that is quite a little bit of money. Most of the money is used for possessing worldly things, to enjoy life. Big car, big house, this thing, that thing. And in whole of this spiritual journey, even when you were taught in level classes, you were told that we have to keep ourselves away from the worldly possessions, from the desires. And now we are talking of money which can only buy those things. So is it worthwhile to talk of money here? Or is it spiritual to earn money? What Master says? Yogananda says, it is not unspiritual to earn money. Because if you want to earn money, you cannot look after yourself. You cannot look after your family. Even the most advanced disciple of Yogananda ji, he was a millionaire businessman. So, if you are not able to take care of yourself, that is rather unspiritual. So he says, you must earn money, but with legitimate means. So, and now the second thing is, how can we attract that money? We want money through energy only and through cosmic source only. Even it was written in the affirmation that you cannot earn money, means in abundance through investing in different saving schemes or other schemes of the government, which give you interest only. If you want everything in abundance, you have to draw that energy from the cosmic source. And for that, you have to exercise your willpower. Greater the will, greater the flow of energy. But then the question arises, if you have money with you, more and more and more of money, maybe big car, good house, is that okay? Was that the purpose of getting money? If that gives you happiness, which we normally attach those worldly things with the happiness, then all the rich people, they are happy. They should be happy, but they are not. It means there is something else which is beyond these possessions. It reminds me one of the stories I read somewhere, that there was a very small farmer. He owns only less than 1 acre of land. And that was whatever crop he was getting out of that land, that was not sufficient to meet his family's both hands meet. But he was doing okay like. And his neighbor, he was owning very big land. So he was having pity on him that I must give some land to him so that he may farm it and may get some crop, good crop. So he told him one day, I want that I give you this much land and you can use that land, and whatever crop you get, you keep it with you. He says, no. He said, why? I'm not taking anything from you. No charges. Whatever you get, you keep it with you. He says, if I farm that land also, I will have no time for singing. Now I have ample time for singing, and that gives me joy. See, here singing gives him joy, and not the money, not the crop. So, worldly things may not give you that happiness, that joy, unless you have your balanced life, what you want in life. Right? And secondly, even if you get more and more of money, if you do not utilize that money in the wise way, that wealth is going to get dry one day or the other. That will not stay with you. Because the basic purpose is your selfishness. When we ask for money, when we ask for abundance, it means you want that money for some big purpose. To help others, to give charity, to serve others. That is the purpose. Till that purpose is clear to you, till you are wise enough how to utilize that money, nature will not give you money in abundance. Do you think a mother will give to her child who is just 3 years old a 500 rupee note to play? Will not give. Because she knows she will destroy it, he or she will damage it, may torn it, because that child doesn't understand the value of that money. So she won't give. Similarly, nature will not give you that abundance, that wealth, till you are mature enough to understand how to utilize that wealth. That is the basic principle. And one more thing, whatever you give, you will get back. Even in your spiritual life also. If we seek God in our daily life, in our spiritual life, we are giving Him our devotion. We are giving Him our love through meditation, through techniques. But that doesn't mean that after 10 days, after 1 month of your techniques and meditation, you say, I gave so much to God and God has not given you anything. No, not with that thought. But certainly, you will get back. So, always try to earn money with legitimate means for the purpose which can serve to others. Thank you so much.
And I got reminded of a story that I heard recently of a saintly man or a saint who always used to give money to his disciples. He used to materialize money and give it to his disciples for some reason or the other. And one time the police got hold of this, and they went to him and say, show us where is your printing press, where you print all this money. And then the saint just said, yeah, come, come, come. And he went into a lake, and he went under the lake, and he stayed there for a while. And then he came back out with a bag full of money and said, there is my printing press under this lake. And of course the police understood that he was a saint materializing all these things, and he had certain power, and probably he was not damaging the economy too much anyway, so probably it was okay for him to do this. We are not here to teach you that power. We don't know that power, and nor we will use it for unless we were guided by the divine, like this particular reading was telling us to guide our will. And I like very much what Prem Inder say. And many a times we think that money and the spiritual life are separate, because money has been called the root of all evil. We, as Prem Inder say, we tend to equate money with just material possessions and this and that. That Master says something very interesting to add what to Prem Inder said. He said that the making money industrially and in a good way, dharmically, let's say, is the greatest art next to God realization. Even one could say that is, in a way, the hardest thing to do next to God realization is to earn money by dharmic means, and also probably to use it for dharmic things and for good things. And there is no wonder why saintly people, saints, if they wanted to, they could be millionaires. Like Master's most advanced disciples were actually millionaires. Swami Kriyananda, he was not a millionaire, but he was able to raise millions of dollars to create Ananda. In fact, at the very beginning of Ananda, he had been a monk basically his whole adult life. He didn't have to think of money much at all. But when he wanted to buy the land to build the Ananda community, he said he was fighting with Divine Mother. I came here not to have to think about these things. I want just to be with you. But he didn't have any donors or anything. He had to work very, very hard, giving yoga classes and meditation classes in a different city every day. He said he will go, to the point that he could earn the money to build Ananda, and even to sustain people at Ananda at the beginning, because people were like him. He was like, I came here just to enjoy, to be like meditating and all these things. So why would I bother getting a job or whatever? They didn't understand for a long time, except people like Nayaswami Jyotish or Jaya, who were more in tune, and they understood that there was more than just being sitting there and by the river and enjoying life. So he had to even sustain a lot of people. He was able to raise tremendous amount of money. Master was also, he started the whole work himself, coming to America, with just whatever little money his father had given him, as we read in Autobiography of a Yogi. But then he had to earn and attract everything else. And so it is very much a component of what the spiritual life is all about, because as Prem Inder very well said, we don't want to just be dependent on others. That is not the right way of living, unless we have earned it in some particular way, Now, there is also a fun story that Master used to say of a certain yogi who was a disciple. They used to live with his guru and other disciples in a forest hermitage, and the guru would say fine, we are meditating, but now let's do some seva, let's clean around the hermitage and do these different chores. And the man said, I didn't come here to do all these things, I came here to find God. So he decided to leave the hermitage, and he took only a piece of cloth with him, linen cloth basically, 2 pieces of cloth actually, that he will just use. And he will sit in the forest and meditate and do whatever he thought was the spiritual life. And then, after sleeping one night, he saw his second piece of cloth had holes in it, because at night a mouse was chewing on it. And he was complaining, Lord, I have left everything. I just have 2 pieces of cloth and you're taking that away also. What is this? And he was kind of fighting with himself and all, kind of worried about his cloth. And a villager from the nearby village came by and said, "Honor, sir," he thought he was a saint, you know. I said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, you know, I had 2 pieces of cloth and mice have been eating one of them." And the villager said, "Oh, but that is an easy solution for that." "Oh, really? What?" "Why don't you get a cat? The cat will chase away the mice and then you'll have no problem." I said, "Where will I get a cat?" "I will give you one, no problem, no problem." Okay. So this yogi was there, he and his cat meditating, and every day he will go to the village and get milk from the villagers, beg some milk and feed the cat. And until one point the villagers came to him, "You know, sir, we're tired of just having to maintain you and your cat." And then he said, like, "You know, we cannot give you so much milk all the time." I said, "Oh, but what will I do?" He said, "Why don't you get a cow of your own?" "Oh, that's a wonderful idea, but where will I get a cow?" "We'll give you one, don't worry." And this particular cow was known as the saint's cow. He was not really a saint, but that's what the villagers thought. And because it was the saint's cow, she was allowed to go everywhere and destroy the crops, and wherever she wanted to graze, she would go. And the villagers tolerated this for months because they thought, like, you know, we should not complain. And finally they could not take it anymore. And they were like, "You know, honored sir, we just cannot, you know, your cow is always destroying everything and we cannot take it anymore. You need to get your own property." And that sounds wonderful, but where will I get my own land? "Don't worry, we'll give you land so you don't have to think about it." So now this man had his cloth, his cat, his cow, and a piece of land he had now. But he could not work that piece of land. He had, you know, his other spiritual duties per se. So he will borrow the children of the villagers to work his land. And again, the villagers tolerated this for a while until once again they were like, "We cannot give you our children anymore. They cannot finish their duties and their studies and all that." And but what will I do then? I need, you know, my cow needs to be sustained so my cat can be sustained so the mice will not eat my cloth, my rag. And the villagers said, "So why don't you get your own children? But wonderful, we'll give you a beautiful wife so you can have your own children as well." And the man was thinking about this, you know, if he should do it or not. And suddenly again his guru came and ran and said, "You know, I thought you left the hermitage because you were tired of all this responsibility, and now I hear you have a cat, cow, land, you're about to get married." And then the disciple, of course, saw the folly, and he said, "Oh, master, I did all of this for a piece of rag, a piece of cloth. All for a rag it was." And so it is with us many a times. It is very funny because we think, like, very often if we have a little more money, we'll be okay. But the funny thing is that usually, I have seen in my life, if you have more, you will just spend more. And then you may want even more. Because we don't know where to stop. We don't know what are our basic necessities and what all should we just seeking to fulfill. Now, our basic necessities doesn't mean that it's just about, okay, I have a roof. If I live under a bridge and, you know, have some food, I will be happy. No, in this day and age, it's not like that. We need to have a good space to live, a space that will uplift our consciousness, that is not so bad that, you know, we are always like in filth, but it's also not like, you know, a mansion that it will just give us more troubles. Same thing as Prem Inder was saying with a car. It's not so much about the car that you have, it's more about what you feel about a particular vehicle. Because some people may need a bigger car because it's just more comfortable for their body and it's nothing to do about showing off. Some people totally want to show off and they'll get the biggest, most expensive car. So it really depends on you. And as we often say, Swami Ananda and even Master, they had beautiful things in their homes. but they were just totally not attached to it. But they also came to show us that in this Dwapara Yuga, it's not about just letting go of everything, living minimalistic. If you want to live minimalistically, that's great. But it should come from a sense of inner fulfillment, not just forced by some supposed dogma or supposed thing of the spiritual life that we are supposed to be one way or the other. It's all about living a life of non-attachment. Non-attachment to what we have, non-attachment to what we may have, non-attachment to what comes to us. And that is also one of the secrets of income. It's about what Krishna described, Nishkam Karma, to all of us. To be able to put out as much energy as we need in whatever undertaking and not really mind what the results are. If the result means that you'll get more, then Master used to say, when God gives more, take more. But then if you have more, what do you do? As Prem Inder was saying, with what you have received. Will you share it with others or will you not? It was one of the principles of tithing, of giving part of your income every month to some cause that you believe in, or to share it with people perhaps who are in need, whatever it may be. You know how we say that, why do we do healing prayers at the end of Satsang? Why do we do it? It's not just because, partly it's because we want to, of course, help people, but one reason is that any blessing that we receive, if we share it, we can keep it more. If you just try to hoard it for yourself, oh, I have peace, I'm just going to protect it like this, and everyone be gone. Or I have joy, everyone, get away from me so I don't lose my joy. You are going to lose it very easily. Whereas instead, if you work on sharing that joy, sharing that peace, you will feel that you have more of it. And it is the same with money. If you share, now you have to share it in the right way, responsibly. Swamiji used to say how Hollywood stars, when this whole concept of Hollywood was started, and suddenly they got a lot of money. We know actors get a lot of money. They will get so much money that they will just give it to their friends. And many of them ended up being poor at the end of their lives because they didn't know how to use it properly. They thought that I'll just give it all away. So it has to be responsibly that we give. But it's a sure way of keeping those blessings more. But also we had to understand that we are not going to donate to charity or whatever. Say, oh, I donate this so I will receive more money in return. No, nothing like that. Or to save on taxes or whatever it may be. No, it has to be, again, from an inner feeling of abundance. Really what we want to feel is a spirit of abundance. And that you can have no matter what is in your bank account or what are you surrounded with. You can have that feeling of inner fulfillment and abundance no matter where you live. And we know that many people feel they have a lot of lack, even though they may have much more than we have materially. Now, people think that these spiritual teachings, like Prem Inder was saying, thinking of money of energy, of currency, of flow, of magnetism, of sharing, that they are, just good words to say. But if they were only good words to say, people like Swami Kriyananda will not have been able to form Ananda and anything. I have a little experience with this myself because I came to India with not real skills, honestly. I had just finished high school, basically, when I came to India. So I grew up in India, you could say. But, and I wasn't always hired by the Sangha, like I am now. At some point, we used to live outside of Pune in the ashram, and at some point my way to sustain myself was to have a cafe. Many people don't know this, but I used to run a little cafe outside in our ashram over there. Now, it wasn't a very elaborate cafe, and it's not that it was my initiative that I'm going. It was a little imposed on me, but I took it, and that was the way I sustained myself. And I remember very clearly, I was very foolish also, I was very young. My bottom line was like, say, if I have more money than when I started the month, that means I'm making a profit. So I didn't really calculate how much I should sell things and all that. But I said, more or less this much, I know I will make money. And I used to make cookies, and I used to say 1 cookie for 10 rupees. Because it really cost me less than this to make them, so why would I sell them for more? I was very, very foolish in that way. But also, I would not care, like, if people, I will tell them, if you don't like the coffee, just, don't have to pay. Because I didn't like coffee myself, so I didn't know if I was making it in the right way or not. But people seem to like it. And I will say, you pay later, or whatever it may be. I will oftentimes give things for free as well. Because my thing was, okay, as long as I am putting this energy, as long as I have enough, it really doesn't matter. And I know this service makes people happy. And I know that it's a good thing to have in the ashram, because it was a space where people could just sit and relax and enjoy and be a little more informal. And I never had, mind you, my expenses were very little when I was there, but I was always able to meet those expenses and even a little more. After we left the land, again, I didn't have anything to sustain myself really. So I just started giving harmonium classes, and it was the same principle. I used to charge, I think, 1,000 rupees for 4 classes, which again is like nothing if you think about it. But it was enough for me to sustain myself, to help people, and it was half service, half I need to sustain myself. I don't need to do those things anymore. But in any way, just put out energy and try to, as Prem Inder said also, see at least part of it as a service that you're doing for other people. Even in your corporate job, if you have, how can I see this as something more than just for myself? And you will see that you will attune yourself to that flow of prosperity, that flow of sharing, that will give you more than just material blessings. Material blessings are like just kind of the side thing that will come from it. It will give you more than anything else, inner joy, inner fulfillment, and a sense of expansion. And if you, even more so, if you, as we should always do, bring God and Master to the picture. If you bring them to your business, to your work, to your undertakings in order to earn a living, you will see that you will get even more and more blessings. Because remember, God gave us hunger, and we had to work to, remove that hunger. So we had to do it in the right way, with God, and knowing that these things will come to us if we put the right energy. Om Guru.